My wife shouted, "My life will run off my terms now. You are free." She said this very next day after winning $9 million. I calmly replied, "Alright, just make sure you read the prenup your parents made me sign before the wedding. I'm 34 years old and I will be in it to learn for 6 years." We met in college, got serious fast, and honestly, I thought we would figure out the whole partnership thing. I work as a structural engineer. She is a marketing consultant, and we built what I thought was a solid life together in Portland. Lawrence came from money, not obsessed wealth, but her parents owned a successful chain of boutiques noodles across the Pacific Northwest. My grand was decidedly middle class. My dad was a high school teacher. My mom worked at the county clerk's office. When Lauren and got engaged, her parents insisted on a prenup. Well, it stung at the time, but I understood their position. They would work hard for what they had. They wanted to project their daughter's inheritance. The document was straightforward. Any assets either of us brought into the marriage stayed separate. Any inheritance she received remained her alone. We would split anything we built together 50 to 50. I signed it without argument because I love Lauren, not her family's bank account. The irony is that Lauren barely spoke to her parents after we got married. They disapproved of me from the start. Too ordinary, too blue collar in my origins, not ambitious enough in their eyes. She'd chosen me anyway, and for years that felt like enough. We had our struggles like any couple. She worked long hours and traveled occasionally to project for sites, and we would fall into the comfortable but slightly distant rhythm that happens when life gets routine, but never questioned that we are fundamentally on the same team. 3 months ago, Lauren started playing the lottery, not obsessively, just a ticket here and three there. When the jackpot got big, she would joke about the we would do with millions, travel to Southeast Asia, buy cabin in the mountains, maybe start the photography business she would always dream about. I would laugh along, playing the game, never actually believing it would happen. Last Tuesday, it happened. I was at a job site in Iguan when she called me at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Her voice sounded strange, high pitched, and breathless. "We need you to come home right now. My stomach dropped. What's wrong? Are you okay? Just come home. I can't talk about this over the phone." I made the 90 minutes drive in 70 minutes. I mind racing through every possible disaster. When I walked through the door, Lauren was sitting at our kitchen table with her laptop open, surrounded by crumpled lottery tickets. Her face was flushed and her hands were shaking. "I won." She said the Powerball actually went. I stared at her. "Won what?" $9.2 to $2 million. After taxes, it will be about 6 million. She turned the laptop toward me, showed an official lottery website with numbers. That means the ticket clutched in her hand. The next few hours are a blur. We called the lottery commission, verified everything 3 times, and Lauren scheduled an appointment to claim to prize. You didn't tell anyone else. She wanted to wait until the money was actually in her account. That night, we ordered the Thai food and sat on our couch in stern silence, occasionally looking at each other and laughing in disbelief. She held my hand and said, "This changed everything, doesn't it?" I agreed, thinking she meant we'd finally have financial security, maybe pay off the mortgage, early travel more. I was completely wrong about what she meant. The lottery commission moved fast. By Friday afternoon, the money was deposited into an account Lauren set up, just hers. She came home from the bank with a strange energy I would never seen before. Weird, almost many. She paced around our living room while I made dinner, talking rapidly about investment and opportunities and freedom. I tried to engage, asking questions about her plans, but she barely seemed to hear me. Saturday morning, I woke up to find her already dressed in expensive new clothes I would never seen before. A designer outfit that probably cost more than our monthly mortgage. She was standing by the window with her coffee, staring at our neighborhood like she was seeing it for the first time and finding it lacking. "We need to talk," she said without turning around. I sat up, my heart sinking. "Okay." She took a long breath. Still not looking at me. I would be thinking about my life, about what I want, and I would be realize something. I would be living according to everyone else's expression for too long. My parents' expression, society expression, even yours, mine. The word came out sharper than I intended. This made she continued, finally looking at me with eyes that seemed to look through me rather than at me. "It's been fine. You are a good person, but I never got to figure out who really am and what I really want. I got with you at 22, me at 28, and I just went along with it all. My mouth went dry. What are you saying? I'm saying that I have the resources now to live life on my own terms. I can travel, explore, figure myself out without being tied down to routines and responsibility that never felt truly mine. My life will run off my terms now. You are free too. Free from being made to someone who is not fully present, who is not sure this is what she wants. She said it like she was granting me some grandiose gift, like she was the noble one for realizing me. The audacity of it hit me like ice water. 6 years of marriage, and she was ending it the day after winning the lottery, framing it as mutual liberation. I felt anger rising in my chest, hot and sharp, but I forced myself to keep my buzz level and calm. All right, I said slowly. Watching her face, just make sure you read the prenup your parents made me sign before the wedding. Her expression flickered. Confusion, then something like alarm. What does that have to do with anything? Everything actually. The prenup your parents insisted on specific that any inheritance you receive remains your alone. Very clear on that point. But lottery winnings are not inheritance, Lauren. They were considered marital assets in origin unless especially protected by a separate agreement, which ours is not. Since we are still married and even the while we are married, I am legally entitled onto half of it. A color drained from her face completely. She set her coffee cup down with a trembling hand. That's not. You can't. That can be right. I can't, and it is. You should check with a lawyer if you don't believe me. Actually, I already did. I called my cousin Bean yesterday. He practices family law in Seattle. You confirm everything. You win the lottery while married. It's community property unless there's specific documentation saying otherwise. Your parents were very thorough about protecting your inheritance, but they did not think about the scenario. She stared at me like I transformed into someone she did not recognize. So what? You are just going to take my money. Money that I own with my ticket. Money we own, legally speaking. But no, I am not interested in talking anything that you want. Here's what actually going to happen. We are going to sit down and we are going to have an actual conversation about our marriage like adults who made vows to each other. If you genuinely want to divorce after that conversation, after we would be really talked about what's wrong and whether it can be fixed, then fine. But you are not going to blow up 6 years together. There are seconds you don't financially need me anyone and act like you are only setting me free. Lauren's face went through several expressions in rapid succession. Shock, anger, something that looked like frustration. Finally, she sat down heavily on the edge of the bed. Her expensive new outfit erasing. This is exactly what I am talking about. You are trying to control me, manipulate me into staying. I am trying to get you to be honest with me and with yourself. If you wanted out of the message many months ago before the money, I would be devastated, but I would respect your decision. But you did not want out. You were perfectly fine with us until you suddenly had the means to start over, somewhere exotic with unlimited possibilities. And now I am just an inconvenience you are repacking as a mutual liberation story. She looked away. Her jaw tight. Maybe I was afraid to admit I was unhappy before. Maybe the money just gave me the courage to be honest. Were we happy? Really, I moved to a street across from her, trying to catch her eye. Because from where I was standing, we were in a comfortable routine, not fireworks every single day, but solid friends. Friends, if there were serious problems, you never said a single word. What about them? I should not have to say anything. We should just know when something wrong. That made my anger flare again. That's not how marriage works. Lauren will not mind readers. We were supposed to communicate. If we had been even been miserable and hiding it, I deserve to know before you win millions of dollars and decided to trade me in for a better model. She was quiet for a long moment, picking at the fabric of her new pants where she spoke again. Her voice was smaller, almost guilty. I talked to my parents yesterday right after the money cleared. There it was, the missing piece. And what did they say? They said I should make a clean break before the money gets disturbed into joint accounts or spent on joint purchases. They said you tried to climb half of it and that I should protect myself and get out now while I still can. She finally looked at me and there was something that might have been shame in her eyes. They would be never like you. You know that the said this was my chance to start fresh with someone more suitable to my new situation. The pieces clicked together with painful clarity. So this was not really about freedom or finding yourself or living authentically. Your parents got in your head the second they found whatever the money did not they. Never point, though we do come from different worlds. Maybe we were never going to work long term. Maybe we just been dealing in the inevitable. I felt something back inside my chest, but I keep my voice steady through sheer force of will, different worlds. So after 6 years of marriage, that's what are you going with? Ron, I will spend 6 years building a life with you. I would be set through countless dinners where your parents made subtle digs about my career, my background, my prospects. I will watch your works yourself into execution, trying to prove something to them that they will never acknowledge, and the second they offer you an exit ramp paved with gold, you take it without even questioning whether it was what I actually want. Tears started running down her face, surrounding her carefully applied makeup. I don't know what I want anymore. I just know I feel trapped and suffocated. Then say you feel trapped and we can work on it. We can go to counseling, take a trip, figure out what's missing. But don't dress it up as revelation, self-discovery when you are really just doing exactly what your parents want to you do. Again, she wiped her eyes, engaging with she back of her hand. And what do you want? To force me to stay in a marriage I'm not sure about anymore. No, I want to take more than 12 hours to make a decision that affects both of our lives permanently. I want to figure out if this is really what you want or if you are just panicked and listening to the wrong people. I want to remember who we were before your parents got involved. We sat in heavy silence outside. I could hear our neighbor mowing his lawn, cars passing on the street, kids shouting as they played, normal started sounds that felt surreal given what was happening inside our bedroom. Finally, Lauren spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. If you wanted to try counseling, would you actually go? Would you really try? Yes. Even after I basically said I wanted to leave you for a better life, even after the because I think you are scared and confused. Not actually done with us, but I need you to be honest with yourself about why you are really feeling this way and who is influencing you. She nodded slowly, wiping at her eyes again. My parents want to have lunch with me tomorrow. They want to talk about financial planning and next steps. I'm sure they do. Will you come with me? They genuinely surprised me. You want me there. I want they to see that I am capable of making my own decision. Not theirs, not yours, mine. She looked at me directly for the first time that morning, and I could see the conflict in her expression. I don't know if counseling will fix whatever's broken between us. I don't know if I'm going to wake up tomorrow and still want the same things, but you are right. That I was more than 12 hours and dramatic speech about freedom. I did not trust it completely. The I want us too fresh. Her words from earlier still echoing, but it was something, a crack in that wall she would build overnight. Okay, I will come. Then lunch on Sunday was exactly as uncomfortable as I would expected. Maybe odds. Her parents closed and chose an upscale restaurant downtown. The kind of place where they are regulars and the staff knows their drink orders. Her father, Gerald, spent the first 3 minutes talking about investment strategies, the wealth management firms, while her mother, Patricia, made pointed comments about how overwhelming sudden wealth must be for someone without experience managing significant assets. The subtext was clear. I was not equipped to help Lauren handle this money. Finally, Lauren set down her fork with enough force to make it clank loudly against her plate. I'm not divorcing him. Patricia's fork paused halfway to her mouth, hovering there. Excuse me, you heard me. We are going to counseling. I'm going to figure out what I actually want, not what you think I should want, who you think I should be with. The lad's face hardened into the expression I would seen countless times before. Disapproval masked as concern. Lauren, we discussed this yesterday. You have an opportunity to do what exactly? Treat my husband like a used car because you never approved of him because he does not come from the right family or have the right connections. I'm 32 years old. I get to decide how I live my life. With $6 million that could disappear into a failed marriage. Patricia said sharply, her polite, benign cracking. We are trying to protect you from making emotional decisions you will regret for the rest of your life. I spoke up for the first time since I would sit down. The memory protect it our way. You learn and divorce tomorrow for in 5 years we split things fairly according to the law. That's what the prenup insurance for premarital assessed. What you are really worried about is that she will spend her lottery money building a life with someone you don't think is good enough for your daughter. Petty's eyes narrowed dangerously. We are worried she will wake up at 40 and realize that she settled for comfort instead of reaching for what she deserved. Inner settle, Lauren said, and her voice was shaking with an emotion. I could not quite identity. I choose him. I keep choosing him, and I'm tired of implying that my choices are mistakes that need to be corrected. Girl leaned forward. We just want you to have every opportunity. No. We want me to have the opportunities you approve of. There's a difference. Lauren stood up, her napkin falling to the floor. We are leaving. The rest of the lunch ended abruptly. We left before anyone ordered dessert. And Lauren did not speak until we were in the car, pulling out of the parking lot. Her hands were gripping the steering wheel too tightly, her knuckles were white. I think I would been trying to prove something to them my entire life, she said quietly, staring straight ahead at the road. That I'm successful enough, married to the right person, living the right kind of life according to their standards, and it's exhausting. The money just made me think I could finally stop trying, just run away from everything and start over where no one knew me or had expectation. I know, but that's the freedom. Is it? They're just running away from problems instead of dealing with them. Probably not. I do want counseling in real honest counseling where we figure out if we actually work together or if we be just been coasting on momentum and habit. Okay, we'll find someone good. We started seeing Dr. Hammond the following week. Sessions were harder than I would expected. We talked about communication breakdowns, unmet expectation, the ways we both checked out of the marriage in small ways over the years without even realizing it. Lauren admitted she had been feeling disconnected for months, but had not known how to address it without sounding ungrateful or difficult. By admitting I had been so focused on my career and proving myself at work that I would miss obsession signs, she was struggling with more than just job stress. The money had just been a catalyst. Dr. Hammond explained, exposing cracks in our foundation that were already there but easy to ignore when life was predictable and routine. 3 months later, we are still together, still going to therapy. Every 2 weeks, still working through a layer of issues we'd be let build up. Lauren took a 6 month spiel from her marketing job and figure out what she actually wants to do with her life. Turns out it's documentary photography, and she has been taking incredible, heart-wrenching photos of Portland homeless community for a project she is pitching to local advocacy groups. We are planning to trip a Japan next Spain, something planning to trip to talked about but never questioned because there was always some reason to wait. The money sits mostly untouched in conservation investment accounts. We paid off the house and set up a trust for future kids if we decide to have them, but otherwise, we are living basically the same life we had before the lottery. Lauren talks to her friends about once a month now. Short phone calls that were civil but distant. I think they are still watching for her to come to her senses and leave me. Still expecting this to be a phase she grows out of. Maybe she will eventually. Maybe this is just a detour on the way to an inevitable divorce. Maybe in 5 years we'll be splitting assets and moving to separate lives. But if that happens, it will be because we actually tried everything and genuinely did not work. Not because her parents convinced her she could, but her way out of commitment the moment things got complicated. The other day, Lauren showed me a photo she taken an elderly couple holding hands on a park bench in waterfront park. Their faces were weathered, their clothes ordinary, but something about the way they sat together irritated a quiet contentment that it was almost tangible in the image. This is what I want, she said softly, starting the photo on her camera screen, not perfect or exciting on Instagram or just present, still choosing each other, even when it's not convenient or thrilling anymore. When the newness has worn off and we were left with just the reality of another person, I looked at the photo at the own wedding things visible on both their hands, the comfortable silence between them that spoke of decades together. Yeah, I said in me, I mean it. That's all sticking around for. That's all the hard work. She squeezed a hand, and for the first time in the months, it felt like we might actually make it to our own park bench someday.